I'm George Flynn, and you're watching In-Depth TV. Today we're going to make a movie. That's right, we're going to make a movie. And let's see, you want to be in the movie? Well, let's talk about how to make a movie. First thing you've got to do is come up with an idea, a story, the story about the movie. How the hero starts out, how the hero has some challenges but has a goal, and the hero goes up to meet that goal, but on the way meets a lot of challenges and has to overcome these challenges. And then the hero in most movies is successful, and then the hero comes back home to victory, and sometimes the hero comes back home just to be back home because they left home to meet the challenge, they overcame the challenge, then they came back home. That's the hero's journey. Now, the hero's journey takes all kind of different ways and detours and everything, but it's the hero's journey, the general story. And people love stories. You love to hear stories. I love to hear stories. Movies are about stories. Television shows are about stories. Radio shows are about stories. And this is about a story also. Okay, we've got our story. So what's next in making a movie? Well, I think we need a cast of characters. We need to know who's going to be in the movie. Who's going to play this part? Who's going to play that part? Who's going to be the villain? Who's going to be the protagonist? Who's going to be the antagonist? Who's going to be the good guy? Who's going to be the bad guy? Who gets to wear the black hat? Who gets to wear the white hat? Whichever way it goes in Western movies, I've seen it go both ways. Who is the good guy and who always operates honestly and completely, and the bad guy's always trying to thwart the good guy's intentions, good intentions. So, we've got a movie, we've got a story, and we've got a cast of characters. People playing a part. And what's the next thing we might need? Well, a setting and cameras and food to feed the characters while they're making the movie, and lights, cameras, action, and a little budget. And we got to teach the characters the lines, and we've got to teach the actors. We got to select some good actors. Or if we don't, we've got to train some good actors. And then we've got to produce this movie. Once we produce the movie, then we've got to go out and show it to people. Let them see it. And where does all this fit in to anything that we've ever talked about? Well, the movie that we're going to produce is your life movie. That's right, it's your life movie. And you say, well, I'm 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, 70 years old, 80. I've had a lot of this movie. Yes, you have. You have had the beginning scenes of the movie that you're now going to produce. I don't care what age you are. You've had the beginning scenes. You've had, not the credits at the end. You've had the title of the movie. You've had who's starring in the movie. By the way, you're starring in your movie. You know that. And you've had some experience. So we have trained the actors how to speak. We've gotten them an education. It's taken all of this to get to this one point where we can have this movie. Let's see. We had to get the actors and actresses ready to, portray their parts in the movie. They're now just about ready. They've had education, they've had clothing, they've had housing, they've had some experience with friends and life experiences. And you may have had a lot. You may have had to go through a lot of things. Some of you and I've talked to some of you, have been through a lot to get to this point where we can now begin this movie. And like I said, I do not care what age you are. You're in the movie. You've been cast. You're going to be in this movie. Okay. You've accepted your position in the movie. Let's talk about the story. What about the story in this movie? Now, up until this point, we've had some stories. We've had some successes, some failures. All actors and actresses in the movies, in TV, have had successes and failures. Now it's time to play this movie for real. Do you remember in school, they say, this is going to be on your permanent record? This grade will go on your permanent record of life. This grade, if you go to trade school or college, these grades, where you go, is very important. Or whether you go into a job, this job and moving up the ladder, very important. Well, the movie is part of that. You're getting up to a certain point. But right now, right this minute, I don't care how many mistakes you've made, how many successes that you've had. This movie starts now. All the rest, the past is the past. It's gone. Forget it. It's over. Nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do to change it. It's over. So let's accept that. You do have some experiences, so you do know how to handle yourself in playing your part. But any mistakes you've made, any successes you've had, they're in the past. We're talking about right now. You're starting, the ground is level with everyone else. No one has any advantage over you. No one is in a disadvantaged position. So it's time to start. Now, how's the story going to start? The story is going to start with you wanting to do something. Let's see, you've got a goal. You've got an idea of something that you personally want to do, be, have, become. You've got that idea. You're starting right now. Your past is your past. And we're going to get to this idea, whatever it is, because it's the movie of your life. So we start out, and yes, there's some obstacles. You knew there were going to be obstacles, and they're there. These obstacles are going to be there. Everyone has them. No one escapes without obstacles. So there's going to be some roadblocks. And you, in this movie, are going to overcome the roadblocks, because we're going to say that we know how this movie ends. That's right. So once you know how the movie ends, you will be able to get over the roadblocks because you know you're going to get there. So we're going to climb this ladder and get onto the top of this mountain and achieve our heart's desire, our goals. Remember, who's writing the story? That's right. You personally are writing this story. I'm not even going to ask you to write it down, because I know most people won't. It's okay if you don't write it down. I want you to write it down in your brain, not on paper. You write it down in your brain. If you want to write it on paper, it's even better. That's called goal setting. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. I want you to have it firmly committed to your memory in your brain, because it's going to take every day of shooting. We're going to be shooting this movie 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, all through from this point when you start shooting this movie on. Gets exciting, doesn't it? because you know how it's going to end. It's going to end with you getting what you want. That's right. And there's no stopping you. You say, well, what if conditions? What if I don't? Yeah, I told you there were going to be obstacles, but I didn't tell you you wouldn't get over those obstacles or get through them, over, under, around, or through. You're going to get through them because you know how the movie ends. It's got to be there. Got to. So you're going to have this goal. You're going to achieve that goal, and you're going to come back to home base, home plate. It doesn't necessarily mean a geographic location. It's mean you're going to come back home to yourself, because you're going to have several what we call out-of-body experiences. That means you're going to do things you never thought you could do. You're going to be a person you never, ever thought you could be. You're going to have things. You're going to have friendships. You're going to have people in your life that you thought might never have occurred. That's all in the past. But remember, we're starting the movie now, today. And you are the star of this movie. And do you know what? Most people around you want to know the story. And as many people want to know your story, you want to know other people's story. That's part of who you are. We're all connected with stories. We're all connected. Everybody on the earth is connected with a story. So your story, and you have chosen to have this story, is available. A lot of people say, I could write a book about this. Well, there's a book in everybody because it's the story of your life. And I urge you to write that book or shoot that movie. You can do it. And even if you do it with a video camera or a cell phone or a whatever you want, you can shoot the movie as a movie, but you can also live your life as one. It doesn't have to be recorded for it to be significant. Your story that will be told by everyone you know, and you may have a huge sphere of influence, much larger than you even expect. This sphere of influence that you have personally is one that you don't even know about. People are watching you. They're watching how you act. Your kids are watching you. Your family's watching you. They're not, looking in on you. They're just observing you. They're interacting with you. They're seeing who you are, what you are becoming. That's the key to it. It's not who you are right now. It's who you're becoming in this story, this great story of yours, this story that you have written yourself. I'm proud of you. You've gotten this story, you've gotten this far with it, and you now know you are the author of it. You are going to get through whatever it is you want to get to the goals that you want to have. Now, the goals may be small, they may be large, whatever they may be. But they're your goals. You have picked them out. You have written the story. So if you're going to write the story, write it big. Because you are a big person. Your life means something. You're significant. So be significant, and I can't wait to see the movie of your life. I'm George.